There's nuances like Kody, like, I made so many sacrifices to love you. Well, first of all, that should be a warning, right? If you have to sacrifice to love somebody, that's not healthy. And this whole framing it around you were a bad sister wife, according to what perspective? Are you really my husband too? If you only see that she was a bad sister wife to one person? Like, if you're really married to both women, you're going to see both sides. Nobody's ever innocent.
Janelle Brown publicly said dating was over for her. Then one quiet photograph introduced Pete and contradicted everything viewers expected. But the strangest detail wasn't the new boyfriend. It was what Janelle had quietly removed from her life before he ever appeared publicly. On August 18, 2026, Janelle introduced Pete through a single smiling photograph. There was no engagement announcement or breathless promise about forever. She simply confirmed that an unexpected relationship had developed privately, away from public pressure. That choice matters. Janelle wasn't exposed through a stranger's picture. She wasn't answering rumors about a mystery man. She chose the photograph, the words, and the timing. After years of public family conflict, that level of control feels important. Her opening line explained the approach. Some chapters, she wrote, should unfold quietly before being shared. She admitted she wasn't searching for a relationship. Somehow, Pete became something valuable she hadn't realized she needed. Then came the simple introduction. Everyone, meet Pete. That was almost everything viewers received. His first name, one picture, one careful caption. Yet one missing detail created the real mystery. Why did Janelle share Pete only after saying she preferred life alone? The easiest answer involves Kody. Fans quickly wondered whether Janelle's announcement would bother him. Some imagined jealousy, while others predicted regret. Many treated Pete like another David Woolley, whose presence forced Kody to face Christine's new happiness. But that conclusion moves too fast. Kody and Robyn haven't publicly confirmed their reaction. We can't know what they discussed privately. Silence doesn't prove jealousy, anger, relief, or acceptance. The timing raises a serious question. Janelle spent years saying she didn't need another relationship. She enjoyed her independence and valued her single life. After nearly 3 decades inside a complicated plural marriage, dating seemed far from urgent. So, what changed behind the scenes? The answer sits inside 4 earlier decisions made quietly. Pete was only the final clue. The first one reaches back through Janelle's entire marriage. Janelle spiritually married Kody in 1993. They built a family and welcomed 6 children together. They also created one of the most unusual relationships inside the original Brown family structure. Janelle was independent, but she stayed loyal. She could leave a heated conversation and return after emotions cooled. She often treated marriage like a practical partnership. That approach made her relationship with Kody appear steadier than the others. Steady didn't always mean close. Longtime viewers watched Janelle accept limited time and uneven attention. She worked, raised children, managed practical problems, and defended plural marriage. She rarely demanded the open romance Christine repeatedly asked Kody to provide. That difference protected Kody for years because Christine expressed her pain more directly. Mary's loneliness became obvious because her marriage barely functioned. Janelle seemed easier because she expected less visible romance from Kody. But expecting less doesn't mean feeling nothing. Janelle valued friendship, respect, teamwork, and reliable parenting. She didn't need constant grand gestures. She needed a partner who showed up when the practical stakes became real. That expectation became harder to defend during the family's COVID conflict. Kody's disputes with Gabe and Garrison created a division Janelle couldn't ignore. His demands about loyalty collided with her duty toward their sons. The argument exposed a major contradiction. Kody welcomed her independence when it reduced pressure. The arrangement became harder when that same independence directly challenged his authority. Janelle could manage her household alone, but Kody still expected his rules to dominate it. Think about that difference. Independence looked acceptable while Janelle carried the burden. It became disloyalty when she made a decision Kody disliked. That isn't partnership. It's freedom granted only while it remains convenient. Their marriage never fully recovered, and December 2022 brought a confirmed separation. Even then, that word didn't explain everything underneath. They had never been legally married. Their bond existed through faith, family history, and spiritual commitment. Janelle couldn't point toward a divorce decree. There wasn't one. That left one stubborn question. What did her faith still require? She described herself as single, but her religious beliefs still mattered. During an earlier stage, Janelle admitted her faith required some openness toward reconciliation. She wasn't waiting for Kody, but those beliefs didn't vanish overnight. If you've watched Janelle for years, that tension makes sense. She rarely makes major decisions through emotion alone. She studies the practical consequences. She considers the children, property, money, faith, and long-term stability. Then she moves. By late 2023, Janelle sounded far less open to reconciliation. Rebuilding the marriage would require both people to change dramatically. She didn't believe that transformation was realistic. That wasn't bitterness, it was recognition shaped by years of the same pattern. Janelle could respect parts of their shared history without wanting Kody back. They raised children, built memories, survived moves, and experienced painful losses. Erasing every good moment would erase pieces of her own life. Moving forward didn't require pretending nothing mattered, but February 2025 brought another revealing update. Janelle said dating and remarriage didn't interest her. She loved her single life and sounded tired of the entire romantic question. At first, that makes Pete look like a total reversal. One overlooked detail changes the meaning. Janelle left a small opening. If something naturally appeared, she would consider what she wanted. She wasn't searching for a replacement. She simply refused to promise that her future could never surprise her. That is exactly how she later described Pete: unexpected, unplanned, and quietly developing. The relationship didn't appear because Janelle suddenly decided she needed a man. It appeared while she built a life that already worked without one. Before she shared Pete, another barrier disappeared. In early 2026, viewers watched Janelle receive a spiritual release from Kody. The experience carried more weight than she had expected. She walked away feeling free, which the 2022 separation couldn't fully provide. The release gave her a clear ending inside the faith that shaped her marriage. Janelle had already stopped living as Kody's wife. She had already rejected reconciliation as a realistic future. The release addressed the remaining conflict between her freedom and her beliefs. You can leave physically while still feeling bound emotionally. You can build a separate life while questioning what your faith demands. Janelle's release removed that final layer of uncertainty. Then Pete appeared publicly months later, but Janelle hasn't given an exact timeline. We don't know whether those events directly connect. Inventing one would turn a meaningful sequence into fake certainty. Still, look at the order. The marriage ended in practice. The church released her spiritually. Coyote Pass finally sold. Her new home gave her something truly permanent. Only then did the public meet Pete, which doesn't resemble a rushed rebound. It looks like someone who waited until her new life could stand independently. Then Christine supplied the only extra clue. She described Pete as an awesome guy. She also revealed that he works in construction, like David Woolley. That doesn't prove Pete and David are close friends. It doesn't confirm double dates, shared projects, or future vacations. It also doesn't tell us whether Pete will appear on Sister Wives. Christine's approval still carries weight because she knows what dating after Kody brings. She knows viewers examine every smile, photograph, and relationship milestone. She also knows how quickly a private partner enters every argument about the Brown family. David experienced that immediately when Christine made their relationship public. Their romance became a central post-Kody storyline. It moved openly toward engagement and marriage. David entered a family where Kody remained connected through children, especially Truly. That created unavoidable tension, while Janelle's situation carries different stakes. Most of her children are adults. Pete doesn't automatically enter the same parenting arrangement David faced. Comparing the two men helps, but only to a point. Their arrivals serve different stories. David showed Christine receiving affection Kody had withheld. Pete appears after Janelle proved she could build stability without Kody. Christine's relationship created an obvious romantic contrast. David supported her openly and embraced the future she wanted. Their wedding placed a clear period after the Christine and Kody chapter. Janelle's unmet needs looked different because she never demanded a fairy tale romance. She wanted partnership, fairness, respect, and consistency with their children. She needed someone whose presence didn't require a constant fight for consideration. We don't know whether Pete provides all of that. One photograph can't prove a whole relationship. Still, Janelle's willingness to share him suggests she values what they're creating. She didn't oversell Pete or turn him into a public hero. She shared happiness while protecting most details. That restraint makes the announcement feel more believable, not less important. She opened the door without handing the public keys to the whole house. Now look at the announcement through Christine's eyes. Christine left first. She absorbed criticism for breaking the original family structure. Then she watched Janelle reach similar conclusions through a slower process. Christine moved through romance quickly. Janelle moved through property, faith, family, and personal security. Their timelines differed, but their direction eventually matched. Both stopped waiting for Kody, which explains why Christine's approval feels meaningful. Their bond survived the end of their sister-wife relationship. At times, it even looked stronger after they stopped competing inside one marriage. That creates a painful irony because Robyn repeatedly said she wanted sisterhood. She mourned the women, children, and shared future she imagined. Yet the strongest surviving sister-wife bond seems to exist outside her household. Christine and Janelle stayed connected because they chose each other. Kody no longer served as the center holding them together. Plural marriage stopped defining their friendship. Choice replaced obligation, and Pete may eventually enter that chosen network. We haven't seen proof that Pete vacations with Christine and David. We don't know whether he has met every child. But Christine's welcome matters because her response didn't sound distant or confused. It suggested some familiarity and clear approval. At minimum, Janelle shared enough privately for Christine to form a positive impression. That gives viewers one fair reference and creates a new public picture. Christine has David, while Janelle has introduced Pete. Mary has explored companionship on her own terms. Kody remains married only to Robyn. The show began with one man and 4 wives. Now the map looks completely different, but the strongest symbol isn't another boyfriend. It's the house Janelle finished before introducing him. Before Janelle introduced Pete, she completed the home Kody never built with her. Think back to Coyote Pass, the Arizona property the Browns bought in 2018. They presented it as a fresh beginning. After leaving Las Vegas, they would build nearby homes and restore family unity. That promise quickly became a monument to delay. The family argued over lots, money, building plans, and Kody's one-house idea. Seasons passed, relationships collapsed, and the promised homes never appeared. The land stayed empty, although Janelle still tried making it real. Her 5th wheel period captured that effort perfectly. She accepted heat, inconvenience, limited utilities, and constant practical trouble because she wanted progress. She wanted something tangible, but Kody didn't share that daily experience. He visited, questioned decisions, and commented on problems. Janelle carried the discomfort of living on land that supposedly represented everyone's future. That image looks different now because the fifth wheel once seemed adventurous. Janelle loved the outdoors and wanted to test life there. Yet it also exposed the distance between the family promise and the labor required. Someone had to make Coyote Pass livable. Janelle tried, but the family didn't follow. One promise, one property, one family that never arrived. After Janelle separated from Kody, Coyote Pass became more than a disappointment. It became a financial tie between people who no longer trusted one another. The land couldn't disappear with the marriages because ownership, payments, and fairness still mattered. Janelle had contributed towards shared goals for years. Unlike Christine, she didn't leave Flagstaff with a clean property exit already settled. Coyote Pass kept pulling her backward, which explains why she demanded a resolution. She didn't want repeated talks with Kody. She didn't want another dispute about intentions or fairness. She wanted closure, and the property finally sold for $1.5 million in April 2025. That sale ended one of the last money ties connecting Janelle, Mary, Kody, and Robyn. It also ended the dream attached to the land. No family compound. No row of sister-wife homes. No shared Coyote Pass porch. Just a sale closing a chapter that never matched its promise. For Janelle, that ending created room for something real. She purchased 156 acres in North Carolina with Maddie and Caleb. The property offered space, family closeness, and an actual plan. This time, construction actually happened, which sounds ordinary everywhere except this family. Janelle spent years hearing future plans. She heard discussions about paying off land, dividing lots, adding utilities, and eventually building. Every conversation pushed permanence farther away. North Carolina broke that pattern because the land became a real project. Janelle's home took shape as walls and rooms finally appeared. Her decisions produced visible results. There was no endless family committee deciding the land, layout, timing, and details. Janelle described the home as the first space designed around her needs. It didn't need to serve an enormous plural household. She didn't need permission, although Janelle had owned and supported homes before. Every earlier move required adjustments around children, sister wives, and Kody's changing plans. This house represented control over her own life. Her home and Maddie's home sit roughly 100 yards apart. They remain separate, but close. That arrangement gives Janelle what Coyote Pass always promised and never delivered. The arrangement offers family without forced togetherness, closeness without control, and independence without isolation. She can live near her daughter and grandchildren while keeping her own space. Tata Farms also gives the property a working purpose. It isn't empty land waiting for someday. The land has direction, but Janelle rebuilt during tremendous grief. The family lost Garrison in 2024, and that loss belongs beyond normal television conflict. A house or boyfriend can't erase it. Pete shouldn't be framed as a cure because that creates cheap romantic drama. Janelle's life can hold grief, family, work, peace, and new companionship together. People carry more than one truth, and North Carolina places Janelle near active family members. It creates roots around people who regularly participate. That choice doesn't attack Kody, but it exposes the cost of distance. Being the patriarch once meant standing at every household center. That identity no longer fits the current family structure. Janelle's children have careers, homes, relationships, and personal boundaries. Their connections with Kody don't automatically pass through Janelle anymore. Pete can't replace their father or create a divide that already existed. If Kody struggles with his adult children, Pete shouldn't receive the blame. Those relationships carry years of history, so the responsibility stays where it belongs. Still, Pete's arrival changes what future family gatherings could feel like. Holidays may eventually include another partner. Janelle's milestones may no longer place Kody beside her automatically. Those remain possibilities, not confirmed plans, but they reshape how viewers see this family. For years, Kody stayed connected to former wives through unresolved questions. Would Christine regret leaving? Would Janelle reconcile? Would Mary keep waiting? Would Coyote Pass somehow reunite everyone? One by one, those questions received answers. Christine married David, and Mary accepted the ending. Coyote Pass sold, and Janelle received her spiritual release. Now Janelle has introduced Pete, so the photograph carries more meaning than information. It reveals little about him. It shows how little unfinished space remains between Janelle and Kody. But what if Pete isn't actually the biggest issue? On the surface, this looks like a familiar post-divorce story. A woman leaves an unhappy marriage, finds someone new, and shows her ex what he lost. That version feels satisfying, but it's also incomplete. Janelle didn't need Pete to leave Kody. She separated years before sharing this relationship. She fought for financial closure without publicly placing another man beside her. She faced the church herself and moved states without Pete's public involvement. She built the house herself before Pete entered a life already standing. That reverses the whole story. He isn't the vehicle carrying Janelle away from Kody. He's someone she chose after creating the distance herself. If Janelle needed Pete to escape, why did she complete the escape first? That question changes the relationship's meaning because Janelle never claimed Pete saved her. She didn't compare him with Kody. She didn't use the post to attack her old marriage. She focused on surprise, and that small detail reveals real growth. Janelle spent decades making calculated decisions around a massive family. She expected compromise, sacrifice, and delayed rewards. Then something unplanned felt good, and she allowed herself to accept it. That isn't dependence, it's openness without desperation. There's a deeper pattern here. Janelle always appeared independent, but her independence often served the plural family. She worked, solved problems, and adjusted when plans changed. Kody benefited from that strength because Janelle tolerated distance without demanding quick repair. She managed children while he rotated between homes. She accepted uncertainty because the family supposedly shared one long-term goal. Her strength helped the arrangement survive, but that strength eventually became a burden. Everyone depended on it without returning security. Janelle's ability to survive with less never meant she deserved less. That's where North Carolina differs, because her independence finally serves her own future. Her work builds her home, while her choices create closeness with Maddie. The land supports a project she actually controls. Then Pete arrives, not as an authority or a rescue plan, but as a companion. We don't know whether their relationship will become permanent. We don't know whether they plan to marry. Janelle may value separate space even inside a serious partnership. That would fit her history, but Pete doesn't need to become Kody's replacement. Janelle can now judge a relationship without needing it for housing, religion, status, or financial safety. She can ask one simpler question: does this relationship add something good? That freedom threatens the old Brown family picture. Janelle no longer balances personal happiness against the survival of a plural system. That system already ended, although another man's presence may still bother Kody. That is possible because major family decisions have upset him when they happened without him. But jealousy may not be the deepest issue. Irrelevance could hurt more because Kody occupied that central place for nearly 30 years. Even after separating, they shared land, children, religion, and public history. Now Janelle can make a major decision without his participation. He doesn't approve the man. He doesn't arrange the home. He doesn't define the relationship. He learns whatever Janelle shares, which reverses his old position across 4 homes. Kody's schedule shaped everyone's time. His preferences influenced housing, while his moods affected several households. Now the decisions happen elsewhere, and Kody isn't simply excluded from them. He's becoming less relevant to choices he once expected to influence. That doesn't erase Kody from Janelle's history. He will always share children with her. Their decades together can't disappear through one social media post. But history and authority differ because Kody remains part of Janelle's past. Pete's arrival suggests Kody no longer defines her romantic future. That boundary may last longer than any angry breakup speech. Anger can keep people connected, while indifference quietly shifts the center elsewhere. Janelle didn't use Pete to provoke Kody publicly. She didn't mention her former husband. That absence may carry more meaning than any direct comparison. Then there's Robyn, whose old dream reveals why Pete's arrival matters differently. Her grief wasn't only about Kody losing marriages. She wanted sister wives sharing rocking chairs on one crowded family porch. She imagined children and grandchildren gathering around a connected family. She wanted the grandparent ranch version of plural marriage. That dream required everyone's participation, but desire couldn't guarantee cooperation. Robyn could want the porch, while Kody wanted the family's respect. Neither could force the former wives to keep building that future. Christine chose first by leaving Flagstaff, settling in Utah, and eventually marrying David. Mary stopped waiting for Kody to revive a relationship he had already left emotionally. Janelle remained the complicated possibility because she closed emotional doors slowly. Another romance hadn't caused her departure. Her faith also made complete finality difficult. That may explain why Robyn encouraged reconciliation between Kody and Janelle. Kody eventually asked her to stop pushing the idea. Yet her hope revealed how she viewed Janelle. Janelle represented a bridge through her long history with Kody and their 6 children. She also maintained a strong connection with Christine. In theory, she could keep several family branches connected. But bridges require movement from both sides, and Janelle had already moved forward. Her spiritual release weakened reconciliation, while North Carolina weakened it further. Pete's introduction shows her emotional life now points elsewhere. That doesn't prevent family peace. It prevents restoration of the old arrangement. If you followed this family, you know that difference matters. Janelle could attend an event where Kody is present. She could support her children if they pursue repair. She could even develop a civil relationship with Robyn someday. None of that recreates plural marriage or places Kody at the center. It certainly doesn't put Janelle on Robyn's imagined porch. Now picture 2 porches. The first exists inside Robyn's fading dream. For older sister wives sit together while children and grandchildren gather nearby. Kody stays connected to every branch. The second belongs to Janelle's real North Carolina home. It stands near Maddie, Caleb, and grandchildren Janelle can regularly see. Robyn imagined one porch, while Janelle went elsewhere and actually built another. That contrast doesn't make Robyn's grief false. She may have sincerely wanted sister-wife companionship and a large connected family. The problem appears when that dream becomes everyone else's obligation. Janelle has the right to choose a different porch. Pete's arrival makes that choice visible as Kody and Robyn confront their future. After 3 marriages ended, they discussed whether plural marriage still made sense. Kody eventually said he was finished with polygamy. He and Robyn agreed to move forward as a monogamous couple. After years of conflict, that decision seemed practical. The contradiction remained because they chose monogamy while mourning the plural family. Kody spoke about losing his big family dream. Robyn struggled with losing her sister-wife identity. Their marriage survived, but the wider family structure around it disappeared. That loss created pressure inside their relationship. They acknowledged that years of breakups affected them. Robyn described periods when Kody returned to the angry divorced version of himself. Kody apologized and tried to claim a calmer future. That effort may be sincere. But Janelle's announcement tests something deeper. Can Kody and Robyn heal without expecting the former wives to remain emotionally frozen? Saying a marriage ended sounds simple. Watching the other person move forward feels different. Christine's wedding forced that reality first. Janelle's relationship may hit differently because she once seemed uninterested in romance. Kody could explain Christine's new marriage as something Christine always wanted. Janelle makes that explanation harder. She wasn't chasing a fairy tale. She didn't insist that marriage alone would complete her. She found someone after deciding she could be happy alone. That makes Pete harder to dismiss as a reaction. He appears to be an addition to Janelle's life, rather than her escape route. Robyn may also notice another change in the family network. Christine and Janelle remain close. Christine welcomed Pete publicly. David and Pete share the same general profession. Fans naturally imagine those four spending time together. That scenario remains unconfirmed. Still, it shows how quickly the public idea of the Brown family can reorganize. Kody and Robyn no longer anchor every imagined gathering. New relationships create new combinations because former wives don't need Kody for connection. Their children don't need one household to maintain sibling relationships. Grandchildren can know each other through their parents and extended family. The family can survive while Kody's old chain of command disappears. That may be the largest consequence because Kody framed loyalty as the family's glue. Yet presence may matter more than loyalty. People stay close when they call, visit, apologize, and participate. Titles can't maintain closeness. Being the father doesn't guarantee access. Being the patriarch doesn't guarantee influence, and legal marriage doesn't create sisterhood. Relationships require repeated choices. Janelle's new life makes that rule difficult to avoid. Pete's appearance doesn't destroy Kody's relationship with his children. It doesn't automatically damage Kody and Robyn's marriage. It also doesn't erase Kody from family history. What it destroys is the illusion of waiting. Janelle isn't waiting for Coyote Pass. She isn't waiting for Kody to change. She isn't waiting for the church to define her. She isn't waiting for permission to build. Now she isn't keeping her emotional future empty because her past remains complicated. That's the big picture, and 4 specific doors explain how it finally collapsed. The first door involved money, and Coyote Pass kept it open for years. Coyote Pass tied Janelle to Kody after their marriage stopped functioning. Selling the property ended more than a land dispute. It ended the practical reason she repeatedly needed contact. For years, the property carried questions about fairness. Janelle wanted clarity about what she owned and would receive. The uncertainty kept Kody involved in decisions affecting her security. Then the number became real, $1.5 million. Money couldn't guarantee emotional peace. Resolution still removed power from the old arrangement. Janelle could invest in her future without waiting for Arizona. The second door involved faith, which proved harder to close than property. Janelle's faith once made separation feel incomplete. She knew she felt happier without Kody, but part of her still wrestled with eternal commitment. The release settled that conflict without erasing beliefs Janelle still valued. Her faith and daily reality finally stopped fighting. She no longer needed vague language about feeling single, but spiritually attached. That door closed quietly, while the third one involved Janelle's physical home. Janelle built her North Carolina home near family members active in her life. She stopped waiting for a collective plan and created something intentional. That house holds more than furniture. It holds evidence of choices becoming real. Janelle can choose land, approve plans, survive construction, and create permanent roots. She doesn't need a husband directing the project. Her home proves it, while the fourth door carries the deepest emotional weight. That final door is where Pete enters, but permanence isn't the requirement. Janelle hasn't suddenly decided she needs marriage. The door closes because another person now occupies space once associated only with Kody. She did it publicly and voluntarily, without explaining herself to the old family structure. Those 4 doors involved money, faith, home, and emotional choice. Now ask what Kody could offer Janelle that she hasn't already built without him. She already built a home and created roots near children and grandchildren. Her church release settled the spiritual question, while Pete now offers companionship. That doesn't mean Kody has nothing valuable to offer. A sincere apology could matter. Better relationships with their children could matter even more. Peace between former partners could reduce pain across the family. But those things require accountability. They aren't bargaining tools for romantic reconciliation. Kody can't offer repair while expecting restored authority. He can't treat access to adult children as proof that the old hierarchy should return. Janelle's relationship makes that boundary clearer. She can support father-child repair without remarrying Kody. She can wish him well without returning to Flagstaff. She can share history without sharing her future. That's what a relationship looks like when it's truly finished. Robyn faces a similar truth. She can mourn sister-wife life without asking Janelle to remain available for it. She can hope for family gatherings without controlling their shape. She can build a healthy marriage with Kody. But she can't build Janelle's porch because that choice belongs to Janelle. Now consider the strongest alternative. What if Janelle and Pete don't remain together forever? What if the relationship stays private, changes, or eventually ends? Would that restore Kody and Robyn's old picture? No, because Coyote Pass remains sold. The spiritual release still exists, and the North Carolina house stays built. Janelle's family life would still center outside Kody's home. That's why Pete matters without needing to become permanent. He doesn't carry the entire meaning of Janelle's freedom. Her life already carries that meaning, while Pete confirms she can choose companionship freely. That protects the story from becoming another unrealistic fantasy. Fans don't know Pete well enough to call him perfect. Public support can turn new partners into heroes before viewers understand them. David experienced that after Christine left Kody. Viewers wanted a clean contrast, so David became proof of everything Kody failed to provide. Some comparisons were fair, while others created impossible expectations for a new relationship. Pete deserves the same caution. Viewers can celebrate Janelle's happiness without inventing his personality. The announcement can matter without predicting a wedding. He may value privacy. He may respect Janelle's independence. He may fit comfortably into her North Carolina life. Those remain possibilities, while the confirmed facts stay refreshingly simple. Janelle called him her boyfriend and shared him publicly. Christine responded warmly. Everything else needs time, and that restraint makes the story stronger. Pete doesn't need to become a hero, while Kody doesn't need cartoon villain treatment. Kody once shaped Janelle's schedule, housing, finances, and family identity. Now he has no visible role in this decision. Pete didn't defeat Kody. Janelle outgrew the structure that once connected them. That is the payoff hidden inside one quiet photograph. The old family picture depended on Kody remaining central. Every wife had a separate home, but his marriages created the official map. Then the women drew their own maps. Christine's led toward Utah and David. Mary's returned toward her work, friendships, and future. Janelle's map now runs through North Carolina, Tata Farms, children, grandchildren, and Pete. Robyn's map still includes Kody, and nothing is wrong with that. Their marriage can continue, and their household can find peace. It simply no longer controls everyone else's direction. The Brown family now works more like separate branches than one pyramid. Different branches connect in different ways. Christine and Janelle remain close. Adult siblings maintain relationships separate from their parents. Kody remains part of that network, but he isn't automatically above it anymore. That difference could shape every future Sister Wives season. The question is no longer whether 3 unhappy wives will leave. They already left, so the future question concerns Kody's behavior without authority. Can he attend family milestones without controlling the emotional temperature? Can he repair relationships without demanding loyalty before offering presents? Can Robyn accept a family connection that doesn't recreate plural marriage? Can Janelle share her new life while protecting the privacy she values? Pete's role may reveal answers if he eventually appears on the show. Viewers will watch Kody's response and notice whether Robyn celebrates Janelle or centers her own loss. They'll also watch whether Janelle seems relaxed and protects Pete from needless conflict. Does she keep the independence she worked to create? Those questions are fair, but no television appearance or engagement has been confirmed. Janelle hasn't revealed a shared home either. Pete has no confirmed role in Tata Farms. Those unknowns should remain untouched because that privacy creates another revealing contrast. For years, the Brown adults discussed marriages after those relationships changed off camera. Viewers often learned about conflict months later. Janelle's post reverses that pattern without reopening every private step. That boundary could protect both people. Pete is dating Janelle, not volunteering to become a symbol in every argument about Kody. If he eventually films, that decision should belong to them. If he stays off camera, the relationship can still be serious. This also challenges a habit among viewers. New partners quickly become evidence in an old case. Every kind gesture proves Kody failed. Every awkward moment becomes a warning. That pressure can distort an ordinary relationship before the audience understands it. Janelle seems aware of that danger. She shared enough to stop rumors, but not enough to invite a full investigation. Her caption celebrated the relationship without selling it as a storyline. That choice fits the larger pattern. Janelle spent years with family decisions becoming public arguments. Coyote Pass, COVID rules, and separation all unfolded through competing accounts. Pete's introduction belongs to her alone. Kody may dislike that loss of access. Robyn may feel another door closing. Those remain interpretations. The clear change is Janelle's control over the information. For once, the public learned what she wanted them to know, when she wanted them to know it. That control may explain why the announcement felt calm, even while its consequences seemed enormous. That leaves one major question unresolved. Kody and Robyn haven't publicly explained how they received Pete's introduction. Silence doesn't prove anger, jealousy, acceptance, or indifference. They may respond later. They may address it through the show. They may never comment, so familiar behavior matters more than imaginary private scenes. Kody has struggled when family decisions happen without him. Robyn has struggled as former sister wives move farther away. Pete's debut touches both patterns by excluding Kody from another major decision. For Robyn, it reveals another future forming outside her dream. For Janelle, it represents something simpler. Choice may define her entire post-Kody life. She chose North Carolina and secured the spiritual release. She designed her own home, and now she has chosen to share Pete. The power isn't the boyfriend himself. The power is that Janelle no longer asks whether her choice works for everyone. There is no family committee, no lot division, no rotation schedule, no loyalty test. She only has a relationship she considers wonderful, which returns us to the photograph. At first, it looks like a standard relationship reveal. Two people smiling. One short introduction. Very little detail. Once you understand the timeline, the image changes completely. Behind that smile sits the Coyote Pass sale. Behind the caption sits a spiritual release. Behind the relationship stands a completed home Janelle chose herself. The photograph isn't the beginning of her escape, it's the receipt proving she already left. Pete stepped beside her only after she created a new frame. That is how this announcement destroys Kody and Robyn's big picture. It doesn't attack their marriage or erase the Brown family. It ends the expectation that Janelle will return to their version of it. She may still share milestones with Kody. Their children will always connect their histories. Janelle may eventually find peace with Robyn. But peace isn't restoration, civility isn't plural marriage, and shared history isn't shared authority. The old picture required Janelle to remain emotionally available. Pete's introduction says she is building intimacy somewhere else. Even if Pete doesn't become her forever partner, that old blueprint remains broken. Janelle has experienced life beyond it. She has built security outside it and knows she can choose differently. That knowledge won't disappear if one relationship changes. The next test isn't whether Janelle and Pete last forever. It's whether Kody and Robyn can accept a family future that no longer centers them. Hi,